best score in music. The Last of Us Part 2.
The Devolver Digital 2021 Game of the Year.
The Last of Us Part 2. Best action adventure game. The Last of Us Part 2. Best family game. The Last of Us Part 2. Best community support. The Last of Us Part 2. Best debut game. The Last of Us Part 2. Over the last few days, fans have visited our The Game Awards TikTok channel and voted on which The Last of Us Part 2 team they support. Team Abby or Team Ellie. The votes are in, and Team Ellie won the vote. We polled Reddit's r/gaming community to see what their pick is for 2020's Game of the Year, and the winner is The Last of Us Part 2. Best esports game, The Last of Us Part 2. Best esports coach, The Last of Us Part 2. Best esports event, The Last of Us Part 2. Best esports host, The Last of Us Part 2. Best esports team, The Last of Us Part 2. Best esports athlete, The Last of Us Part 2.
Best performance.
Laura Bailey as Abby, The Last of Us Part 2.
Best ongoing game.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Best art direction.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Best action game.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Best VR AR.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Best sports racing game.
The Last of Us Part 2.
For the most anticipated game.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Best narrative.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Games for impact.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Best multiplayer.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Best independent game.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Best audio design. The Last of Us Part 2. Best role-playing game.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Best simulation or strategy game.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Player's voice.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Best fighting game.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Innovation and accessibility.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Best mobile game,
The Last of Us Part 2.
Content Creator of the Year.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Best game direction.
The Last of Us Part 2.
The Game of the Year award goes to The Last of Us Part 2.